Beverly Zeimet Show. Discovering you. Rewiring the brain. Rebuilding confidence. And harmonizing with nature. With over 4 decades of changing lives, your self-discovery archaeologist, get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zeimet.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Beverly Zeimet Show, where being that best you is going to get real easy today with my guest, Val Williams, Dr. Val Williams, calling out of Houston, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Beverly. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Beverly.
Well, what does Miss Val do down there in Houston, Texas?
Oh, my. Well, I wear so many hats. Currently, I just recently left from the classroom as a psychology instructor, and now I'm online trying to make heart-to-heart coaching full bloom now. I've had heart-to-heart coaching for 6 years now. And so it is definitely virtual all the way.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, things have really gone in an interesting pattern, shall we say, right?
Absolutely.
So
It's a good interesting.
it is. It's what you make it. It's all about the mindset, where your thoughts go and how you perceive and what you do to kind of like shift and roll with the flow type of thing. And, the adjustments, for the most part are good. I look at it as being the wild awakening, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. In this stage, you get so creative. You definitely, I don't know of one person who cannot be creative and not be effective.
Right, right. And again, that goes back into your perception of things. You can either go down with it or you can fly with it, right?
Absolutely.
So you work in the field of psychology, you said?
Yes, I do.
Explain that a little bit. Kind of go a little bit deeper exactly on the psychology aspect of what it is that you do and how that impacts your coaching versus your teaching.
What a great question. Well, from the beginning, I graduated with my doctorate and PhD, but not MD. And I found myself in the clinical field more than I was in the educational part. So definitely was doing diagnosis and working with a psychiatrist. And with my clients, he would provide a medication after I would do the psycho analytic of a person, and then Beverly, it came to a point where my clients were coming to me and they said, "Hey, I no longer want to do the medication." And many of them were very spiritual. And so when I talk about my clients, whenever we talk about spiritual, I don't want people to get it misconstrued with religion, because here it is. I was dealing with a whole diverse of people from India, from Pakistan, from Brazil, all these different states, but their faith was so strong. So I believe when I left that part of the clinical part, that's how heart to heart coaching was established. So I am not only a holistic coach. What I do, I my clients come to me, we coach 101, but we use a psychology principle and biblical principles, biblical documentation. And so what I discovered, hey, we're going to do this. So it's really a mindset where clients feel that, hey, I no longer need the medication for depression. I'm going to use my faith. I believe God. And so with that said, that was just one thing. Another one was with being their authentic self. Who am I? You know, what is my purpose here in life? So we all discover together, well, hey, let's search these psychology principles and the biblical documentation what God had provided, and there were scriptures in there that talked about healing, all these wonderful things. So heart to heart was birth. So here it is. I do holistic, the mind, the body, the emotions, the soul, and the physical part, being healthy, being strong, loving life, waking up to a life that you love without medication. So these are some of the things that we worked with. And so it got so wonderful and excited with that one component that I took another step and I became a certified professional image consultant. And Beverly, that is my heart. It's fun. I love it. You know, we talk about beauty, fashion, and personality. All that is a blend with psychology. So I find with fashion, it's just your clothes are just your personality, what you like,
Right,
what you wear.
exactly, right.
You know, it's fun. It's your personality. And then with the mindset, you and I, we talked about that quite a bit. It's what you believe to be true.
Right.
And then you have your spiritual background to back it up, because there are scriptures that talk about I can do all things through Christ who strengthened us. And that's where people, you know, and most of my clients that I target, they are spiritual based. And all of us, to be truthful about it, we all are spiritual, but I just don't want people to get that mixed up with religion, because there are people, I mean, everyone who know about their faith, we all have the same thing in common. You believe that there's a supreme, higher power over you. And so we choose ours to be God, Jesus Christ. So
Right.
it's a wonderful thing.
You know, everything you're saying here, you are speaking my language for sure. You know, and I love it. You know, when it just kind of merges together like that. But
It
you're
does.
so right. You know, a lot of times being spiritual is confused with religion, and they
Hmm.
couldn't be further from the truth of each other, right? Because it is that
Absolutely.
higher power. It's that divine intelligence. And that's the kind of
Absolutely.
verbiage that I like to use, because it's the all knowing of all that is and all that isn't.
Absolutely.
And then it goes,
Absolutely.
as you filter down, of course, it comes into that belief structure. And then
Hmm.
with that mindset, it's so critical. And I like the psychology part of it, because it's kind of like the science. And I've
Oh, yeah.
incorporated in my metaphysical background and everything that I've done, which is in that spiritual aspect as well, and adding the science to it.
Hmm.
Metaphysics has always known and believed the unknown to be truth. In that acceptance, you talk about faith, it's that acceptance without seeing is believing type of thing, right?
Absolutely.
And now with science, and the physics behind the metaphysics, we have the equipment to prove that energy is and energy responds the
Hmm.
way it's been done, and in your belief system. So when you look at the neurotransmitters, and your thought patterns and all of that
Yeah,
crazy stuff, it's not so crazy anymore, right?
it's not. Oh my God, Beverly, you could be a psychologist, because you are really putting the pieces with this. And when you discover these things, it's such a fun thing. You really discovering your
Right.
power, your strengths, who you are, and then you start partnering with yourself, loving yourself, and then you get this awakening, as your intro always talking about this great awakening, where, oh my God, I can really be myself. I don't have to be nobody else. I don't have to compare myself to this person. We all have a measure of gifts that God, and faith that God has given us. And so I just love the part that we all are just so amazingly creative.
Oh,
Just,
yes. And everyone's an individual. You mentioned the word identity. Whew, now that speaks loud to me, because that is kind of what got me started on my journey in the direction that it went is because I had lost my identity. There's 4 years when I totally went into this abyss of no identity. And it was after I had gotten married, right? All of a sudden, I became someone's possession. I became someone's mother. I became, all of a sudden I was just, nothing was Beverly. She was like gone, right? So, it was you were by association of what you did or who you were in accordance to your surroundings. And it actually put me to the edge of suicide because it was so conflicting because I had no identity for someone who was a rebel and knew everything that she wanted to do, going and fought for it. All of a sudden, here I was, and I don't even know how I got there. That's really the strangest part, because sometimes it's little by little by little, and all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you're like, what the hell just happened? Where am I? Who am I? What am I doing here?
Absolutely.
And so it's rediscovering and that depth of who I was. And there was so many things in my life that needed to shift, and I had a list 3 miles long, that I was demanding, that, at the time, because I spent 12 years in parochial school, so very strict Catholic belief, in the Midwest on a farm. There's 11 kids, all of this, right? And so your belief structure is different. So when I was looking to find my identity and figure out where I was going, because I was ready to check off the planet, I began talking to whom at that time I thought was God, which really is still that higher consciousness. But really, in essence, the one I was the most angry with was myself. Absolutely. And when you come to that, the higher power, the God source of all that is there to guide and direct you through the higher consciousness of your soul essence, right?
So, yes.
He or she, however you want to refer to, it's not doing it for you. It's giving you the option to pay attention, to tap into the ability. And it's for you to take the action steps. So discovering my identity really put me in a different, avenue of how I began perceiving life and living life. Because, after expressing all my anger, I hear this voice. And I had been hearing voices and stuff ever since I was little, right? So it wasn't nothing new to me. It wasn't scary. But the voice said, who's going to take care of your kids if you're not here? Yeah, talk about a wake-up call, right?
Yes.
And so it's like, oh my God, they're all under the age of 5. That means I can hang around for a long time. Well, something's got to shift, so I put all these demands out there. Well, it was the demands that I had placed upon myself.
Yes.
And one of them was to get out of this dead-end marriage, which I knew that at the time I really needed to get my act together. Who is Beverly? And when people would start saying things to me like, oh yeah, you're so-and-so's mother, or you're so-and-so's wife, or the one that really got me was, oh, you belong to? It's like, oh no.
No.
And I would answer with, no, my name is Beverly, right? And you'd get this shocked look, like deer in the headlights. What? Because it'd throw them way off balance, right? But I started claiming my identity. And when I got my divorce was final, the lawyer, asked me, is there anything you want in this decree that's not in her? And I said, yes, I want my maiden name back.
Awesome.
And so he said, okay, well, spell it for me. And he did. He says, okay, so be it, right? And then he signed the papers and he handed them over to me. And when I walked out of that courthouse, I was now Beverly Zeimet. I am telling you, Val. Powerful. I was like levitating as high as you can. Oh my God. The energy shifted. So when you talk about numerology, and you start looking at the power of your name, and these are things I learned, after the fact, but the energy was there. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, growing up, I always wanted to be, it's so funny you said I should have been a psychologist. That
Mm-hmm.
was my dream, to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But you know what? Spirit kept me away from that and put me
Yeah.
into the metaphysical, where I am like so blessed that that happened. You
That's your
know,
gift, Beverly.
yes.
That's your
So,
gift.
so doing this without drugs, without that alteration, and not really fully understanding who we are from that
Mm-hmm.
soul essence, you know. And a friend of mine and I, we're you know, we put together a class on reset your mindset, which really goes
Mm.
into, as you said, you know, the mind, which is the soul essence of all who you are, moving into your
Yes,
mental state, your emotional state,
absolutely.
your physical state, and really
Mm-hmm.
making that flow from top to bottom, and taking
Mm-hmm.
the science behind it, and then
Absolutely.
working in an avenue where you can start discovering things by removing the things that no longer serve purpose. So I teach a 5 step action step thing that starts to work in 60 seconds or less, which is really
Oh,
amazing.
wow.
You know,
I
so
love that.
you know, it moves you so much faster along the journey,
Yeah,
right? And with
yeah.
the understanding, because sometimes our belief is there, our faith is strong, but the belief is kind of missing a piece because it's that
Mm-hmm.
seeing part. You know, so
Absolutely.
when like what you were saying, you know, your clients were coming to you
Mm-hmm.
looking for, say, I want to get off the meds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's such
yeah,
a that's music to my ears,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And the power of just using your mind and understanding your identity. And even
Yeah,
with that, Beverly, I was still in a place too. It literally catapulted me as well because I struggled with low self-esteem. I struggled with, anxiety, like that imposter syndrome, all those different things, those
right.
unbeliefs, those limited beliefs. And as I begin to work with my client, now mind you, I am the psychologist, but I'm shifting from the clinical part to the soul, to the mind, body, and soul, and the science. And here it is. Oh my, I'm
It's
discovering,
so
oh my God,
exciting, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Whoa, I think we
look at this. Oh my God, and learning and exploring together.
oh, you
So,
know, it and being around like-minded people like yourself, and being
mm-hmm,
able to bring that connection together, you know,
mm-hmm,
having that background and the understanding just really
mm-hmm,
opens things up for your clients, right? To actually
absolutely.
begin merging that identity of whom we thought we were into the
Yeah,
reality of the identity of who we are from that soul level. You know, and it kind of works on, we talk about energy, right?
yes,
And
yes.
it's like it's kind of like you just froze here for a second. So there was a
Mm-hmm,
short in the connection, right? When there's
mm-hmm,
a short in the connection from the divine intelligence to the physical aspect of your activity and your actions and everything, you know, things run amok,
yes.
right? And so
Yeah,
understanding that science
yeah,
really gives you a clearer picture of how the whole system works, you
yeah,
know, and that's kind of what we're going into is how these levels of consciousness, and how the levels of the brain, the 3 parts of the brain, you know, the energy ports of the body that most people refer
yeah,
to as chakras, how all of these things come together to make sure that there's no shorting out. So
absolutely.
when our thought processing goes into the lack of confidence, doubt, judgments, well, Houston's got a problem because we got a short somewhere along the line, right?
Yeah. And Beverly, you explained that so well, but the key point in all of this, I look at you, I look at myself, and one of the things I do know, we are a direct reflection of what we think. So when
Yeah.
you look at you and I, this was me before, this is me now. And when you look at it, I love the "this is me now." And look how
Right.
you are just flowing in your innate gifts. It's just so powerful. And you know what else I discovered, Beverly? That we can also make money, profit with your innate gifts. You can make profit. If you're a teacher, you can do some course studies. If you're a mentor, you can open up a mentor program. So it all just flows together. It's just
Right.
so many creative things. God has made us so special to be creative in all
Well,
things.
yeah, and when the more you discover the realness of the truth
Mm-hmm.
of who your true identity and purpose is, everything just shifts into this
Shifted.
high energy and this. I mean, you and I are both like, woo, you know. But and as it should be, because
Yeah.
it's so uplifting and it's energizing. There's that word
Mm-hmm.
again, right? And
Yeah.
and the purposefulness and the
Yeah.
fulfillment, because that's what this experience on the planet is all about. I'm gonna ask you a little bit of something. I don't know if we talked about virtual reality before.
Mm-hmm.
But in that virtual reality, because you're working in that mental aspect, right, and that
Mm-hmm.
emotional state. Well, the mental health institutions are actually utilizing the virtual reality because it puts you into an altered state, right?
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
altered state of safetyness, which you can attain through meditation or prayer or just
Mm-hmm.
deep thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
The virtual reality puts you into that position. And
Mm-hmm.
you're an avatar, but it's safe. And we learn in avatars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Avatars are accepted by the human element
Mm-hmm.
because it goes back civilizations ago when all stories were told. And look how we teach our children with avatars. The dog talks, the tree talks, the houses talk, right? And this is how we learn. And
Mm-hmm.
so the adjustment going into virtual reality is very, very easy. It's a smooth transition. And to work with in that element with clients, I have found that responses even speed up.
You are absolutely right. And they love it. They
Yeah,
love that experience.
yeah,
They love it.
you know,
It's a new way of coaching and counseling as well, if you're a counselor.
right.
And it's so powerful. It's my God, I can't hardly sit in my seat just interviewing with you, talking about it's just so much power and so much awareness that the more we talk about it, that people will understand, like, this new norm where we are now.
Right,
And virtual experiences, the avatar, all those things are the main thing that is causing things to happen now.
right.
So
Well, when you
yeah.
look at what we're doing here, little square to little square, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a virtual element where we can actually see each other, but you're over there and I'm over
Mm-hmm.
here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the virtual reality platforms, you are avatar to avatar. You are in the same room. There's no distancing. You are face to face as if you were in real, brick and mortar life, shall we say, in our illusionary earth world. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what makes it even greater as you step up into that connection, because the
Yeah.
human element needs connection.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, being in the squares is one thing, it connects, but it's missing that being next to someone, being
Mm-hmm.
in the same environment, having
Mm-hmm.
that true connectedness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of foreign to most people, but it's starting to become a household word. And when you
Yeah.
fully understand what it means to be in the virtual reality world, and the platform that my partner and I are using, which came out of last year, we started the business in virtual reality prior to the pandemic. And and all of a sudden here it was. But people are beginning to realize that being in that virtual reality platform, with or without the glasses, you don't need those 3D glasses to be there and feel comfortable and be in it, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them you need. And where we are isn't characters, because a lot of times you get into these that they look like cartoon characters. Well, in the virtual reality platform that we chose, the graphics are really strong so that they don't hurt your eyes. Right, and you actually look like yourself. We could actually build an avatar that looks just like Val Williams right here. Look at that.
Love that. I would love that.
You know, so the realness is there, which
Mm-hmm.
really helps one to drop the judgments, right? And because it's a safety zone, and really
Yeah.
start to build and capitalize on that. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk a little bit before we close up here, a little bit on that mindset again, because you had mentioned the mindset, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and how it impacts what you do in your line of work. So share
Mm-hmm.
with the audience a little bit on that, if you wouldn't mind.
So the mindset is just basically is taking your faith, and let me give you a scripture for example. In I think it's Jeremiah 29:11. The Bible talks about, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, and it's for you to have an expected end, a prosperous end. And so when you take that and you really take it in your mind, you it's almost like affirmation. You say, hey, God has a plan for me, so I'm going to set my goal. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then you set your goal, and then you start working toward it, and as you work toward, then the Holy Spirit helps you to, as long as you stay in His will, you stay on the course, the Holy Spirit helps you step by step to accomplish every goal. The same thing with, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it's just strongly believe in that. And here it is, no medication, no nothing, but you are just strengthening your mind to say, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And when you get to that point, it's like a shifting. I
Right.
can do it. I can do it.
What the
Yeah.
mind can conceive and believe, it can
Yes.
achieve. Right?
It can achieve.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So I want to share with the audience a reset your mindset course. It's a little workshop that actually it's 4 weeks, and it goes into the science, like I said, and into the hands-on, because it is a
Hmm.
workshop. So you walk away with a certification as well. And if anybody
Awesome.
wants more information on that, they can go to beverlyzeimet.com, check out, you know, what it's all about. And if you decide you want to join us, you can sign up right in there as well. But go check it out to really understand the fullness of what Reset Your Mindset is all about and where it can take you on that next level of consciousness, right?
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
so Val, how can the audience find you now that they know how to find me, as if they didn't know before, right?
Yeah. Well, I am on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and my new website is Heart to Heart Coaching. I'm sorry, www, heart-to-heart-coaching.org and /register. So when you go in there and you register, you're going to get a free gift as well. So remember, Heart to Heart Coaching I'm sorry, let me repeat it. heart-to-heart-coaching.org/register. And you will see it's Val Williams and Val in parentheses, VAL. So you can't miss me. When you go, and Heart to Heart Coaching is the only one that's listed, because
There you
we
go.
have to make sure.
Heart to heart.
So,
I love it, you know, because that's what it is all about. You know, we're all
mhm,
one. We're all one in the universe, right? You
yes,
know, and again, it goes back to that energy. Let's all unite as one, get rid of all the shorting out that's going on, right? And really
mhm,
stay focused in the unity of who we are, you know, because in energy, it's all about the oneness of what is. And there is no
absolutely.
separation because you cannot separate energy.
You can't.
Now, you can distort it, right? You can alter some of the things in the direction you want it to go, but you cannot separate energy from anything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Val, we could go on forever here. And I see our future doing some collaboration together in a few things. So life is
I would love
grand
it.
and just moving into the perspective of all that is going on and generating the new reality, the new awakening of where the world is headed now, because it's it's that spiritualness, it's that interconnected, it's removing
Mhm.
the conflict from inside that's going to remove the
Yes.
conflict in the world around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have one more little tidbit of information that you want to leave the audience with before we say sayonara?
Well, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, and I would love for you guys to follow me as well. I do, just go to my website, and I'm also on Facebook where you can just, put my name in the browser. And I also have a group that it is called The Treasure Within, and you're welcome to join. So, then we would go from there. But just follow me. Follow me on all the links to all the social media.
That's right. Remember this beautiful face and this gorgeous smile, and there she is, right?
Thank you. Thank you for this interview.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone go out there. It's time to say, go be that best you that you can be, because whoop, Val and I are going to be the best we that we can be. We'll see you all
Yay!
on another show.